Some question?
Yes, Maharaj. Question from Dhananjaya Prabhu and Malini Didi.
All right.
Okay,
Yes.
Dhanavad.
Yes.
We know that in Navadvip, Gupta Govardhan, it's a place where all the offenses are forgiven. Is it also the same revealed in Abhasya in the deities of Sri Sri Guru Gauranga Gandhava Giritali?
In Abhasya?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Why not? Well, first of all, I mean, just for the sake of clarification, we have to carefully hear Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, the Guru Varga, Sadhu, Shastra Guru, Vaishnava. Hear carefully, listen, be precise as possible. Guru Maharaj was told he was an acute hearer. That implies, not just in a literal sense, but catching what is being represented conceptually. That's the thing. As Guru Maharaj will say, with the mantra, the spirit with which the mantra is imparted. Otherwise, it's available literally, objectively, in so many ways, in so many places, from so many. Why, as the saying goes, sampradaya bihina ye mantra ste nishpalamata. If the mantra isn't from the sampradaya, the actual line of descent, Guru is saying, Vaikuntha Nama Grahanam, does it have some spiritual quality to it? Otherwise, all bets are off. So, it's actually descending from that plane. If not, Nishpal means no fruit. There won't be any fruit, like the artificial tree we see in the office building or different places. I remember Sureshwari's husband, Brisha Kapi Prabhu, he had this very modern, nice apartment in San Jose, and he was showing me around and everything. And he'd been watering this tree for 4 months, and then he was informed it was an artificial tree. No fruit, nishpala. There won't be any fruit, no matter how much water you put on that tree. If it's not rooted, has the capacity to be deeply rooted in something. That's our concern. Not a superficial brush with Krishna consciousness or the Nirguna plane, but what is deeply rooted in the Nirguna world. And that's represented by our Guru Varga, in this case specifically by Srila Guru Maharaj. So what he's saying is, with regard to his selection of where Chaitanya, we say, Navadvipa, Srimat Chaitanya Saraswata Mata Barud Gita Kirtir Jasrim Vibrat Sambhati Ganga Tata Nikata Navadvipa on Ganga Tata, on the banks of the Ganga. We know that Guru Maharaj in Navadvip, we know that Guru Maharaj, he first went to Ekachakra when he got the inspiration to spend his final days in Navadvip Dham and take shelter there. He went to Ekachakra. Why? That is the place of Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu is the Dhameshwar, the governor, the visa granting officer for Navadvip. So Guru Maharaj isn't thinking, oh, I have some inspiration to go there, and then immediately go there and pick the highest place imaginable and try and establish yourself there. That's not the way of Srila Guru Maharaj. He's entering very humbly. Right? So he's thinking, first I must go and seek shelter of Nityananda Prabhu, whereby you can, any genuine spiritual pursuit will have a firm foundation. Back to roots, nishtha. Right? Firm foundation means the grace of Nityananda Prabhu. So Guru Maharaj goes to Eka Chakra and told the train arrives and he hired one bullock cart and put all his earthly belongings, a trunk and some on the bullock cart, and he walked on beside. That's how he went. And there at Nitai Bari, the house of Nityananda Prabhu, where that deity of Nityananda Prabhu is, that Srila Gurudev told me, you will never see a more beautiful Nityananda Prabhu. Before that, Nityananda Prabhu, Guru Maharaj's Shastanga Dandavat and heartfelt prayer that to Nityananda, you are Patita Pavan, one who gives shelter to the fallen souls. Please give me shelter at your holy lotus feet. But the inspiration descended in the heart of Srila Guru Maharaj that coming from Nityananda Prabhu, but you do not give Patita shelter. Meaning, up to this point, Srila Guru Maharaj was not initiating. People were asking, like the sister Baba Tarni Didi, affectionately known as Pishima by all the devotees. She had Harinam from Srila Saraswati Thakur, wanted to get mantra diksha from Guru Maharaj. He is deferring to Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj. Because in the lifetime of Srila Saraswati Thakur, he was the authorized Ritvik. So this seemed safe to Guru Maharaj. He's deferring, and more than her, but she's an example. So he's saying, you give shelter to the most fallen, but the inspiration is coming. But you don't. When you will give shelter, allow Patita to take shelter of you, then you can take shelter. And some other considerations that Guru Maharaj thought, oh, then I must begin to accept disciples. That's part of the agreement. Okay. So then, now he's being granted a conditional visa by Nityananda Prabhu for entrance in the Navadip Dham. Where does he select? What Navadvip proper, or what is referred to as Navadvip, and all the pastimes of Mahaprabhu and the Chaitanya Bhagavat, Sri Chaitanya Charitamritam, when we hear Navadvip, it's synonymous with Kulia. And one of the, Srila Saraswati Thakur, in his commentaries on the Chaitanya Charitamritam, he gives much information about these things. And in one place, he describes, Jai Srila Bhakti Vinod Maharaj Ki Jai. He describes what may be considered Navadvip proper. Kulia. What is called Kulia, he's saying that is Navadvip. Because we can say, well, there's Mayapur, there's this place, there's that place, and sometimes there are, certain holy places are contested by different groups of devotees. What happened here? What happened there? Where did Mahaprabhu appear, etc.? So Saraswati Thakur, he says in his What is it? Is this Anubhasya or Amrita? Anubhasya. Bhaktivinoda Thakur's is the Amrita Pravahavasya. So he says that Kulia or Navadvip proper can be understood. He names different places. And one of the places he names is Kolerganj or Kolerdanga. When we first went to the Mat, it was called by rickshawalas, if you want to tell them where you're going, it was Kolerdanga Mat. The Mat and Kolerdanga, that's how they knew it. They always have some landmark way as opposed to the actual name. So you say Kolerdanga Mat, they knew where to take you. Right? So it says Navadvipa Koladri Rajye. So it's on the Ganga Tata in Kolerganj. And what is that? Adri, Koler Adri Rajye. Adri Raj means Giriraj. Adri means mountain. Adri Raj means the king of the Giriraj is considered the king. Giriraj Govardhan. So this is placing it as Gupta Govardhan. In Vrindavan there are parallels. Navadvip, there are parallels to Vrindavan. Right? So this part is Govardhan, Gupta Govardhan. And we understand that that is the goal of in the Rupanuga line, as expressed by Raghunath Das Goswami. Nija nikata nivasa dehi govardhanatvam. In his prayers, he is asking Giriraj to be nearby, to get shelter there. Also, it's significant that Mahaprabhu gave the Raghunath Das Goswami the Govardhan Shila for worship. These things aren't incidental or accidental. Right? They're all profound. And so, but really, why does Guru Maharaj select this place? And there's a connection here. It's also known as the Aparad Banjaner Pat. Means the place where all the offenders are forgiven their offenses. And what that means is, as Guru Maharaj would sometimes say, lightly about Mahaprabhu, he said, because the Puri people, the Orients, they will say, Bengalis do not appreciate Mahaprabhu. So Guru Maharaj said, just Navadvip he rejected, Puri he collected. So Nimai Pandit, because they'll say, he was driven out of Navadvip. Because the Bengalis, they don't understand Mahaprabhu. It's the Gaudiya Sampradaya. And Gaudiya and Odia, it's very close. Anyway, it's some like local pride to claim someone as your own. So it's true. In Leela, he was driven out of Navadvip. How can that be? Navadvipa Chandra, who's the moon of Navadvip. He's the light. Nadia Dar, Guru Maharaj would sing this line. When they realize what happened, their hearts are broken, they think, the light of Navadvip is gone, our life is gone. They're plunged into an ocean of separation, the Navadvip devotees. But it's true, out of the necessity of Leela, we can say in retrospect, this needs to happen, although Leela, sometimes Guru said meaningless pastimes. But what is the necessity? For Patita Pavana Gaura Hari, for Mahaprabhu to save everyone, he will need to embrace the position of a sannyasi. Before that, because it's a Prakrita Leela, everyone is thinking, that he's an arrogant Brahmin boy, Pandit. right? Who thinks he knows everything, that Nimai Pandit. But he's my cousin, or our families have some connection. So they're expressing some envy towards him. And we hear that when Nimai Pandit, he goes, as was the custom then, to go to Gaya for the Shraddha, Shraddha, Pinda, the funeral rites regarding the passing of one's father. But when he returns, he's mad with Gopi Bhav. He's always chanting the names of gopis. He's mad with Krishna Nam. He appears to be in a never-ending state of divine madness. And when he starts explaining everything on the basis of Gopi Bhav, the heart, the mood of the Braja Gopis, some of the students start objecting. They think, what happened to our teacher? Because he's a teacher in primary school of Sanskrit. And that shows you the nature of a Prakriti Leela also. You would think, oh, he would be teaching the most advanced class to the most... No, he's a primary school teacher. He's disguised that way. Right? As when he met the great scholar Keshava Kashmiri, he didn't expect to get such an acute hearing from a primary Sanskrit school teacher. So walking on the banks of the Ganga, Keshava Kashmiri, he gets some inspiration. We're told he was the son of the goddess of Saraswati, so favored by her. And he just non-stop, ecstatically expresses, when composes on the spot, 100 slokas in glorification of Mother Ganga. It's astonishing. 100 four-line verses in praise of Mother Ganga. They're all original. What type of genius man is this who can do that? And Nimai Pandit, he's a teacher of the primary students, the beginning class of Sanskrit. And as they're walking along with this, and that Keshava Kashmiri is thinking, I'm even astonished at what I just did. And Nimai Pandit goes, it was astonishing. That's amazing how you could do that. 100 slokas on the spot, composed, original, just incredible. There's two things that come to mind though. In verse number 46, he starts quoting, and Keshava Kashmiri is thinking, I don't know if I can remember all of these. How he remembers that one? He said, it appears that there may be some literary fault. There are many beautiful alankar there, but there might be a literary fault or two. And it's very sweet. He mentions, one I can recall, what was it? Bhavani, or saying the husband of the wife of Shiva. That implies that Shiva's wife has a husband other than him. There's some fault the way he expressed it. And he is astonished, like this boy, not only can he remember all the 100 slokas but he can show me where there are some, in a subtle way, there's actually some flaws in what I expressed. And of course, it is Mahaprabhu's way, Nimai Pandit's way, of liberating him. He's, like Gurudev used to say, demolish the pillars of ego? In a sweet way, Mahaprabhu is demolishing the pillars of his ego, these scholarly pillars that were giving support to this big ego. He gets defeated by the primary Sanskrit student. But that said, when Nimai Pandit returns mad with Gopi Bhav, some of the students, they don't appreciate this. And they're saying, before you used to tell us all about Krishna. He's saying, Krishna, because he's in Gopi Bhav, loving anger. He's saying, Krishna, he's a despicable man. They're going, what? And then at one point, Nimai Pandit is chasing out these Brahmins, going to beat them. And, because he's in this divine mad state. So they misunderstand these statements where apparently he's criticizing Krishna. But it's the loving man of Radharani and Brajagopis. It's a contrary expression of the depth of divine love they have for Krishna. Anyway, and then we're told that Mother Sachi, she's thinking he's losing his mind, particularly one day when in Divine Madness he starts laughing. But he's laughing ecstatically, incessantly for 9 hours. So she's saying, oh no, Nimai's lost his mind, and she gets Ayurvedic medicine, puts some Brahmi oil on his head, supposed to cool you down. He's still laughing madly. Prepares a bathtub full of Brahmi oil, puts it up to his neck, still laughing madly. He's saying, oh, my poor Nimai. Srivas Thakur comes to visit, and she's saying, Srivas, Nimai's lost his mind. And Srivas Thakur says, what he's got, I want a drop of that. And then Nimai Pandit stops laughing. And he said, Srivas, if you thought I was crazy, then I would just leave the world. What is the point? But that you know, now I've got some encouragement. I came here to distribute something. But now what's happening is the people he came to save, they're turning against him, misperceiving him as being arrogant and not what you would expect from a spiritual personality. They're seeing the humility, they're seeing arrogance. And so now, Mahaprabhu's lamenting, thinking, I came with the medicine to save them. What are we saying in the song? Eneche Oshodi Maya Nasi Borolai Harinama Maha Mantra. Anyway, he's saying, I came to give this medicine to them, and now the patient is angry at the doctor. And the patient's anger at the doctor is dismissing the recommendations of the doctor. He's saying, what to do? So this situation leads him to conclude that he should take sannyas, that the culture is up. If he takes sannyas, then automatically, and this is coming up on January 15th, around that time approximately, the Sannyas Smaranam Leela of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If he concludes, if I will take sannyas, then because of Vedic tradition and local custom, the people will have to show respect to me. And by the demonstration of that respect, they will accumulate the sukriti to appreciate what I've come to give. So as Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in his songs, the opposition in Leela is necessary to nourish, Leela Pushti. It nourishes, it has its place. Just as the opposition in Krishna Leela, the opposition in Gaura Leela is helping to promote the pastimes. So-called offenders. So they've offended Nimai Pandit. He's taken sannyas and he's been driven out of Navadvip. Right? You think, oh, such a terrible thing. We know he goes to, first to Katwa, and there Keshava Bharati, we told us, he's going to give him the sannyas mantram, Tattvamasi, and just before that Mahaprabhu says to him, Tattvamasi, I heard this in a dream, is this the mantram? He's infusing it with Gopi Bhav, which culminates in Radha Bhav. Radha Bhava Duti Suvalita. See how he's going gradually from Bhakta Bhav in general, is that showing different types of Bhakta Bhav, to Gopi Bhav, to Radha Bhav. This is the arc. So when Bharati repeats that to him, now he's been initiated, he's infused with the Gopi Bhav of the sannyas mantram. And they're dancing, Mahaprabhu, we know he goes to Puri, afterwards at the suggestion of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he meets with Ramananda Roy, who Guru Maharaj says we take to be his Ragamarg Diksha Guru. And he travels all over South India. He's converting all the different spiritual traditions to the superiority of Krishna conception. And then 5 or so years, and going back to Puri. So after 5 years, he returns to Kulia, where he'd left, that Navadvip. And we hear, what does it say? And Rupa Goswami, Sado pasya sriman dhritamanujakai pranayitam bahadbi girvane girisha paramreshti pabrittibi sa bhaktebhya sudham nijabhajanam mudram upadisham satchetanna kame punar abhidashoryashati padam. Saying Brahma and Shiva, what to speak of the people there, they've donned human-like forms to have a glimpse of the beauty of Gauranga Sundar, Mahaprabhu. And what did they come? Bearing the gifts of the love and affection of their hearts. That's what they've come. So they're mixed in the crowd. And all the people of Navadvip, they're saying, Nimai Pandit, now he calls himself Gaura Hari. And they say, oh, he's looking so golden and effulgent. What is it? Nyagroda Parimandala, described by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the extraordinary, Ajanulam Vitabujo Kanakavadato. His arms go down to his knees, Kamala Yataksho, eyes like lotuses. He's so beautiful. And off in the corner is Vishnu Priya, Tyaktva Sudushtaja Surev Shataraja Lakshmin. What he sacrificed to save the fallen souls, Guru said, the Krishna Prem enthroned on the imperial throne of the heart of Vishnu Priya. We cannot conceive of her love for Nimai Pandit. It's impossible for us to properly conceive that. But she made that sacrifice, he made that sacrifice, Sachimat, they're all sacrificing so that he can take this role, universal deliverer. So understanding, she's off in the periphery, and Guru Maharaj said, she tells Sachimata, there's your son. She doesn't say, there's my husband. She says, there is your son. And we're told she's in tattered dress, and understanding the anguish of separation in the heart of Vishnu Priya. And they're so close but cannot meet, that he steps out of his padukas his wooden sandals, and goes on. The crowd moves with him, and then Vishnu Priya comes clutching those sandals, and she worships them for the rest of her life. But at this time, Mahaprabhu, he's whisked away to the house of the relative of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who's known as Vidya Vachaspati, and Vidyanagar. The Navadvip Dham Parikrama goes there every year toward the end, maybe on the last day. And all the people, they're rushing madly to have a glimpse of Gaurahari, Gauranga Sundar. And they need to cross the Ganga to go there. There's a limited number of boats. Some people start using big pots, like as a boat to go across. Then people, their eagerness is so great, they just, as a mob, they go over in the water. No one can drown, there's too many people. So they just go through the water to the other side. That's madness. Right? And crowdsourcing, a human boat. Right? So, and when they arrive, they're climbing trees, everyone wants to have a glimpse. We're told even a twig on a tree could support a human body by the Lord's mystic power. And so Vidya Vachaspati is saying, they just want to have a glimpse of you. Right? Raso Dama Kamar Buddha Maduratamo Jalatanur, the beautiful golden form of Gauranga Hari, right? Like 10 million cupids and full-blown cupidity. So what is it called? The balcony? It's like veranda balcony. He comes out and everyone's fainting and this madness. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes in his song, he compares it, we're saying Vrindavan and Navadvip have their parallel. To him, this is like when the gopis are seeing Krishna in Kurukshetra, and they're thinking, when will he give up the dress of a king and come back to Vrindavan? And here, Bhaktivinoda, taking himself as one of the inhabitants of Vidyanagar, saying, when will Nimai Pandit give up the roads of renunciation and come back to Srivasangam? So there are parallels there. But at this time, because the people are so mad to have a glimpse of his beauty, he has to be taken secretly away. And at that time, he goes to the part of Kulia called Kolerdanga, which is otherwise known as the Aparad Bunjaner pot. And there, all of those who were offenders previously, they come to him and beg forgiveness. So that Guru Maharaj selected that place. And which is in Gupta Govardhan, consistent with what is expressed by Ranganath Das Goswami, the Prayojan Tattva Acharya. So the Guru Maharaj's thinking is always ontologically perfect, and there are threads, ontological threads connecting everything. And when we began promoting Srila Guru Maharaj to others and outside of that zone and around the world in different places, and more people started coming, some propaganda was made that because the numbers started growing more who were coming to Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math and Navadvipan. And it was told the Guru Maharaj that they were saying, and to their own people who were somewhat bewildered by that, they said, don't worry, it's only offenders who are taking shelter there. So like none of the good people are going, it's just offenders. And so this was told to Guru Maharaj, and he began to smile and laugh a little like, hey, hey, hey. And he said, yes, you can tell him, all the offenders are coming to the Aparad Bhanjaner Path. And soon Mahaprabhu will forgive all their offenses and give them everything. So what was the question, the last part?
Like, is it the same?
Same?
Is it like also revealed in the deities of Sri Guru Gauranga?
Oh, in Abhazya.
Yeah.
Someone wants to know if Abhazya is also the Aparad Bhanjaner Path. So, what we, the real offense, we've established that. Then we can take it this way. We are aspiring servitors in the line of Srila Guru Maharaj under the direction of Srila Gurudev. Right? So we, in remembrance of Srila Guru Maharaj, Das Goswami, this line, everything, the substance of Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, then, like here, we're telling Gupta Govardhan, because we want Nija Nikata Nivasa Dehi Govardhanatam. We're praying for shelter there. So we see some parallels to here. And we can say by extension to every place where there's some substantial representation of the conceptions of Srila Guru Maharaj. As encapsulated, I told you, the conceptual architecture of Chaitanya Saraswat Mat is encapsulated in the Mat's Pranam Mantram. Srimat Chaitanya Saraswata Matabara Udgita Kirtir Jayasrim. Jayasri means Srimati Radharani. Udgita means a loud kirtan, but there's loud and there's profound. Right? Bibrat Sambati Ganga Tata, located on the banks of Ganga Tata, Navadvipa Kaladri Raje, Yatrasi Gora Saraswata Nirata Gora Gata Grananti. And it's this, the Gora Saraswat line, Chaitanya Saraswat, Gora Saraswat, from Mahaprabhu to Saraswati Thakur and his followers. So that means the conceptions of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur have to be there, represented, and as he has delineated things, the parameters of what he's established. Gora Gata Grananti, the primary activity, is glorifying Mahaprabhu. Remember, Mahaprabhu always means Radharani. Because who is Mahaprabhu? Radha Bhavaduti Subalita, enveloped in the heart and halo of Radharani. Anta Krishna Bahir Gauram Darshitangari Vaibhavam. Krishna Varnam Trisha Krishnam Sangopangashta Parshadam. Krishna is not golden. Right? He's Shama Sundar. Achintya Gunasrup, inconceivable, blackish. Saraswati Thakur said, like the Atasi flower, this dark blue, deep blue to black, the monsoon, Ganashyam, all these things. That is Krishna. Right? Nomijate Abra Vapu, cloud-like complexion. Vapu say, Taridambaraya. The lightning dress reveals, contrasts Krishna, the form of Krishna. Means Hladini Shakti, Radharani. So, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, how did Shama Sundar, it's in the song, how did Shama Sundar become Gauranga Sundar? Gaura Anga become so golden because being enveloped in the heart of Srimati Radharani, it's radiating this golden effulgence. That is enveloping Krishna, and who was Shama Sundar, has become Gauranga Sundar Mahaprabhu. So Gauragata Grananti, Swabhaktevyam Sudham Nijabhajana Mudram Upadishan. Rupa Goswami said, what? With his devotees, Swabhaktevya Sudham Mudram, he's showing how to worship Krishna. Right? And not just as a general devotee, but as the highest devotee, means Radharani. So Mahaprabhu always means Radharani. Gauragata Grananti, singing the glories of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Yari Gaurna Hoita Tabiki Hoita Kamari Daritam Dehe Radhar Mahima Prema Rasasima Jagata Janata Ke. The greatness of Radharani and the limits of her prem, Mahabhav. That's what they're... Nityam Rupa Nuga Sri, and how? In the Rupa Nuga line, Kritimati Guru Gauranga Radha Jitasa. Jitasa, Jita Asha means this, an aspiration. Radhika Madhavasham. It's an aspiration for the service of Radha and Krishna. But in this way, through Guru Gauranga, like that. So, to whatever degree these principles are embraced, understood, served, expressed, properly represented, then it qualifies for all of the what we mentioned before. Then all those things can be there. Not that anybody, we can just stamp on a sign, right? Make a sign and say, this is that. Right? No. Just like Guru Maharaj Zone, when he talked about the, what is it called? The Bharat Seva Ashram? The Ramakrishna Bharat. He said, they have big billboards saying, Bharat Seva Ashram. And he said, advertising with it. He said, but if a qualified auditor goes there, he will see they are bankrupt. It's not Bharat, it's not Seva, there's no Seva, there's no Ashram. He said a qualified auditor, you can have the biggest sign advertising something, but a qualified auditor means someone who understands how to detect substance. They will say they're bankrupt. So just, we're not here, this is not just like a mutual flattery society. We want it to be substance. So when the substance of what is the gift of our Guru Varga is present somewhere, then all of those things can be realized. And so, as we see there, those in Abhazia, the devotees, the direction of Srila Avadut Maharaj and Srila Rishikesh Maharaj, they're substantially representing the line and mercifully giving others shelter. The deities have appeared there, which is a strong indication of like things moving in a positive, progressive, favorable way. So in almost like a hidden position, they're giving shelter to the fallen souls, because they remain true to the spirit of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, which Guru Maharaj has expressed in the Mat Pranam. Anything else?
We also got a question on Facebook from David Ravas. He's asking, what is the difference between consciousness and awareness?
Well, since you ask, we know that someone can be conscious to a certain degree, but not necessarily aware of certain things. I mean, let's just say at the beginning, sometimes they're synonymous, sometimes not. So if you understand what I'm saying, someone can be literally conscious, but not aware of certain things, in the sense of like being absent-minded. An example, Guru is saying, from Gita, Indriyani paranyahur indriyebhya paramanaha manasastu parabudhe yobudhe paratastu saha. Krishna is giving a very succinct sequence to understand how you go from the objective world to the subjective world of Atma and inner experience. And they're the objects of the senses, things that are being seen, heard, tasted, touched, smelled, felt. Right? Then there are the working senses through which this seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, feeling, smelling, feeling is taking place. But then there are the senses themselves, right? But the seat of all sense experience, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, etc., the seat of all sense experience is the mind. So, for example, someone is somewhere, maybe they're in a library studying, someone calls their name, they don't hear them. Someone's repeatedly calling it, they don't hear them. Until they finally, what? They say, I was calling you. Oh, I didn't hear you. Why? Because they were absent-minded. It means, and say you filmed it, right? And you with audio, right? So you could show, literally, this happened from an objective point of view. Literally it happened. And you could even scientifically verify that, the liquids in the ear and the cochlea, and I'm not a biologist. Any biologist in the group tonight? Okay. Anyway, the way that, sound, it's interesting how it goes in to touch the mind. But if the mind we are so-called absent-minded, even though literally these things are going on objectively, and we're conscious, we're unaware that it happened. Right? So we could say, well, that's interesting. But it may be profound. And the 87th chapter of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the Veda Stuti, begins with the question, a very interesting question posed by Parikshit Maharaj, the Sukadeva Goswami, saying, if the Vedas are sound, you're always talking about sound. In Vedanta, you're saying, anavriti shabda, by sound you'll become liberated. We're always talking about shabda Brahman, spiritual sound, all these things. But, so if it's sound, like so many sounds in this world, that is vibrated by a tongue, the vibration, the audio waves, they go to the ear, and so how is that spiritual? How can that liberate one? That would seem to imply that the mundane can produce the spiritual. It's like subjective evolution of consciousness, actually. The 87th chapter, things that are dealt there. And one conversation refers to another conversation. Sukadeva is saying, this is really an excellent question. He refers to another time something similar was discussed by the Kumaras on another planet, and they were discussing another. So this is something that has caught the imagination of many, and many highly realized personalities. Guru Maharaj has expressed this wonderfully in the subjective evolution of consciousness. But, so there, in a nutshell, it's the longest chapter in the book. So I can't attempt to represent substantially what is there, but one of the things mentioned there, and Guru Maharaj phrases it this way, yes, matter cannot manipulate spirit, but spirit can manipulate matter. So the divine sound can descend. It's not through an ascending process that you can produce that. Just as Guru Maharaj refers to Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Sharanagati about the holy name, what is it said? Hridayate Hridaya Balite Bal. Pardon me? Oh, okay. He's saying by the power of the heart, right? That will move the tongue to vibrate the name proper. Not that we vibrate the tongue and listen to that sound and then that will purify the heart. Saying rather, what has been heard from the Vaishnava agent influences the heart, sevan mukhe hijavaro, right, as Rupa Goswami says, and then the tongue is expressing that. Right? So, and this was supposed to be on the subject of awareness and consciousness. So there's, generic consciousness, but what our interest is, awareness, you can say, of Krishna, very specific focus of consciousness, not just, in a general sense to be as I said, generically conscious, as opposed to a specific focus. Anything else? As it says in Rupa Goswami's heart, Atak Sri Krishna Namadi Nabhavyed Grahyam Indriye. The name of Krishna, the form, the qualities, the pastimes, they're beyond the grasp of the senses, the mind, the intellect. So it's not just a question of data transfer, given some information, some knowledge, right? Jnana karma janavritam. But sevan mukhe hijavaru shayameva spurtira. But through seva, there can be some illumination. Yes, anything else?
It's about our songs. In the song Vaishnava K by Saraswati Thakur, he says that by a devotee, all sense objects are then directly perceived as being Lord Madhava himself. How to understand this, and also why the specific name Madhava is used here? What does it mean?
Well, the root cause of material existence is Bhayam Ditya Binibeshi Tatshad Ishadape Tasya Viparya Yoshmati. It's forgetfulness of Krishna. It says in the Ijopana Tadejati Tadnaijati Taddure Tarantike Tarantarasya Sarvasya Taru Sarvasya Bahyataha. Guru Maharaj's relative, seeing that he was predisposed to being detached materially, not interested in material life, he thought and too much preoccupied with spiritual culture, he thought to discourage him from the spiritual pursuit and bring his focus to the material. And he said, there are some stars that are so far away from here. We hear from science, they're, in light travel, 300,000 kilometers per second, 176,000 miles per second. They're so far away, their light has not yet reached us. So how vast is this universe? If there is any God, do you think he has any time for people like us? We're so insignificant. And Guru Maharaj answered with that Upanishadic word, well, is there any place where God is not? It says Tad Dure is very far away, but then it says Tad Antike, but he's very near. Tadu Sarvashasya, he's within everything. And that was the end of that conversation. So it's a perspective. Look, you have one man who's saying, as if God is nowhere to be found, or he's so great, so infinite, so far away, like the Upanishads, that we're nothing to him. Guru Maharaj is saying, yes, but it says simultaneously, he's within everything. Brahma Sangita, Andantarasam Paramanu Chayantarastam. In the heart of every atom. Heart of every living being, the heart of every atom. So, really, Krishna culture is about this. To see Krishna within and without everything. So, it's, what's the word, like reconfiguring our way of seeing things. So this is the proper way to see things, is that Krishna is within everything. See everything related to Krishna. But remember, when we say Krishna, still that's sort of half of what we mean to imply. Right? We never conceive Krishna proper as Krishna being alone. There's always Radha and Krishna. Right? So here, Madhava, one reason it can be being used here, not the only, but Madhava means the husband of the goddess of fortune. So in one sense, can mean Lakshmi and Narayan. But the supreme goddess of fortune is Jai Sri, Srimati Radharani. So Madhava indicates Krishna, but with some understanding of Radharani being there, Radha and Krishna. So when we say seeing Krishna and everywhere and everything, again, that's true, and then that's general. Then we want to become more specific. Because Krishna, we never conceive of as alone. When we talk about the king, it implies there's a queen, a kingdom, princes, princesses, ministers, associates, citizens, everything. So whenever we conceive of Krishna, we don't isolate him from his Shakti, from his devotees, from his abode. It's all inclusive. So Rupa Goswami has said then that then this world will be seen as paraphernalia for the service of Krishna. Right? What is it? Anashaktasya bishan yataham upayunjataha nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yukta vairagram yuchate. Saying to renounce something as being mundane and that it cannot be used in service is false renunciation. Saying that's very superficial. The higher concept of renunciation is that everything can be used in the service of Krishna. Right? We know when some Bollywood actress came in Juhu Beach, where Prabhupada was, and everyone is there, besides themselves, seeing the beauty of this Bollywood actress, and no one wants to really say anything about it. Prabhupada acknowledged that this is a beautiful woman. He's saying, the Mayavadis, their approach to this is that, no, it is an illusion. There's nothing there. Nothing to be seen here. Move along. So they deny that there's a beautiful woman there. They say, illusion. Good luck with that. Right? Prabhupada said, but the Vaishnavas, they will say, yes, that is a beautiful woman, but beautiful woman can also be used in the service of Krishna. She can also be a servant of Krishna. Right? It may be an asset materially and generally, spiritually not seen, as it may be, have some disqualification, as the, who is it, told Mahaprabhu? Govinda or Jagadana, one of them, Damodar Pandit, whom Mahaprabhu was afraid of, told about the widow who would bring her son to visit. He said, she has one disqualification. She's a beautiful girl, so this doesn't look good. And he's saying, who is he to chastise Mahaprabhu? He's just so concerned about Mahaprabhu. That's why he says these things. And Mahaprabhu says, I'm afraid of Damodar Pandit. But it's very beautiful. But anyway, he's saying that's her apparent disqualification. But really, she can also be a servant of Krishna. Right? Mundane assets, mundane paraphernalia, technology, wealth. Rupa Goswami is saying it's not that these things cannot be used in service. Because part of that is restoring them to their original position. Everything is meant for Krishna. Bhoktaram yagatapasam sarva loka maheshwaram. Everything is meant for his enjoyment, including us. So this reminds me of, in the 10th canto of the sloka, was it Samasritaye Padapalava Pavam Mahatpadam Punya Yasho Murare Pavam Budhir Vatsa Padam Param Padam Yad Vipadam Natesham. Generally the world is making devotees fearful. That's also good. But it's saying for someone who's taken shelter of Krishna, then that ocean of nescience, it means, ignorance is oceanic in depth and extensiveness. It says the ocean of nescience becomes reduced to the water left in the imprint of the hoof of a calf. That's a poetic way of saying a drop. Right? An ocean is reduced to a drop. How can that which is oceanic become reduced to a drop? It means a change in perspective. Right? So what was seen as a distraction and taking one away from Krishna, now, that can be used in the service of Krishna. So Vishwanath's saying, actually demonstrating this in his explanation, saying, so generally the devotees, there's some fearfulness about the mundane and with good cause. Saying, but having taken shelter, if they're exclusively sheltered at the lotus feet of Guru and Gauranga, the Lord and his devotees, saying, then, so that ocean that was like compared now to the water left in the imprint of the hoof of a cow, he said, well, cows are worshipable to us. So now we can see we'll see that which was formerly fear-inducing and antagonistic to us. He's saying, now we're seeing in a favorable light, if it's related to that which is worshipable. So Rupa Goswami's advice is to use everything in the service of Krishna. And that was particularly put into practice by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, as we were discussing, the other day with the printing press, modern technology. You want to think, oh, these things, they're distraction from devotional pursuit. No, they can be used in the service. Then they're become worshipable paraphernalia. Once they're engaged in service, it's worshipable paraphernalia. And I remember in India, they have many festivals, as you know. And one of them was Vishwakarma Puja. They have, Vishwakarma is like the, how do you say, you know, it's the mystery of the demigods, or their architect, he does their construction, he does everything, right? So in Vishwakarma Puja, you know, if someone like has a hammer or a power drill, they do a puja to that because they're using it during the year. It's actually really nice. They worship like whatever sort of, you know, tools you have or such things. Then they're offering flowers and incense and some other things maybe. Huh? Prasadam even. You can offer prasadam to your power drill. And so it's a beautiful thing. They're saying, oh, I use this during the year. Because they say, oh, these foolish people. Maybe not so foolish. And maybe if you follow this to its natural conclusion, its ultimate expression, they're onto something. Remember, the thing, the deva of that thing, Guru Tattva, Nityananda, to Radha Govinda Chidlila Amritam, everything is traced back to the center, the central conception, Krishna conception. Hare Krishna.